Hello and welcome to part 57. This is on Israel and Palestine, namely the Gaza area. I have my own thoughts on it. I believe that some of or a lot of the mistrust that there is between the sides has led to great problems. And I know there was reason decades ago to mistrust Hamas, and there has been, some rifts between Israelis and Hamas in the past. But I do believe that the problem really lies in the mistrust of Hamas and then leading it to Gaza being impoverished and not having much money. Um, and this poses a problem. What do they do, when people are starving, when people don't have clean water, when the electric is cut off, or whatever it may be? Um, and the basic essentials aren't always there, or whatever it may be. Um, so they have possibly even not purposely, but taken money from Iran. And Iran may have a foothold on Gaza because of the impoverishedness of the strip, the Gaza Strip. So, if there was some way to get Gaza back on its feet without any weapon capabilities or anything like that, just to get them up and going again. Maybe they wouldn't rely so much on help from Iran. That may be what's happening to Hezbollah, namely. And I'm not blaming all of Iran. Iran is a big country, and there are a lot of people there, and I bet there's a lot of good people there too, and like that. So let's not be too hasty to blame all of Iran in this. But I'd just like to see maybe Gaza be back on its feet and negotiations continue. Um, it was sort of tit for tat, meaning some Gazans were killed and then the rockets happened. But I don't justify either. I think both are wrong. Um, So, if there's a peaceful solution, I think they really need to, uh, um, you know, I don't mean to sway popular opinion or anything like that. That's not my purpose. I'm just stating what I think is the truth. And I think that by embracing Hamas as a friend, as an ally, they could find much better peace of mind. And now, that's not to say that there can't be a few bad apples somewhere, but I think that they have reined in, excuse me, before militants. Um, they've been called a militant group, and they're also the government of Gaza. It's important to remember that. So, I think they're more the government than militants, as I see it, and they need to be somehow accepted. Unless there's going to be a governmental change there, which I don't recommend. I recommend that they are the legitimate governing body of the Gaza Strip, and that's not to say all of Palestine either, just of a part of Palestine, albeit less than half of Palestine. Unity in Palestine would help too if there was the train between the two. But in mistrusting them, they are being squelched, and the people of Gaza are being squelched, and things are going wrong. Um, there has to be a stop to that. I think letting the Gazans live decent lives is a start to bringing about a good situation. So, I really think that Palestine should be, regardless. They're not. I know it may look bad, with the rockets that happened, but they also know about the Iron Dome, and they know that nothing's going to happen. That's not to say something couldn't go wrong. So I think it shouldn't happen. None of these violence. The truth should continue. Um, and continuously so. I mean, there shouldn't be any killing or violence or anything provocative or anything like that happening. Um, that being said, just maybe they could get to know the true Hamas and find out for sure, you know, um, who they really are, and maybe stop Iran from being able to influence them unduly, making them, for money, doing, for hire for the people of Gaza, they may be doing certain things um, for money for the people of Gaza because they are impoverished, because they are squelched, and so this needs to stop. I think that Gaza needs to be on its own feet, and Iran out of there. No contact with Iran. Um, that's not to say there aren't good people in Iran again, but these people that are giving them money or financing certain things need to go. They need to be far away, so maybe that can be done. Um, no influx of Iran. Okay, I'm going to go. These are just my thoughts, but please don't be hasty in condemning Hamas. Maybe an inquiry, an examination of the facts as they really are needs to be done. An independent inquiry into Hamas, and I mean, I really, I've seen such a change in them. I followed along with things a long time ago, and Hamas was very different then. They truly were, very militant, and now I see them more as the government of Gaza, and not so much, a terrible thing, um, but a force for good in Gaza. Um, so I know it may not look that way, but an inquiry could be made into finding out just what they can about the facts about Gaza, about Hamas. Find out the truth about Hamas. And I think you'll find that they're more good than you would ever imagine. They care deeply for the Gazans, and this is what I think you'll find. But I think maybe an inquiry needs to be made at this point. I also strongly suggest that maybe that attack was to prevent, them becoming a state. But they need to become a state at some point, and we went ahead with Jerusalem being the capital, ahead of things, ahead of schedule, and maybe Palestine needs to be ahead of schedule, a state, a full status state. Um, and I know this is not the juncture maybe to be asking for it, but um, somehow, some way, it needs to happen most soon. So these are just some thoughts on it. Find out. Find out what's going on. Cut off Iran from Gaza and get real money into Gaza. Get them what they need, the things they need. Don't shut off their power, water, whatever. That's what's causing the sort of the revolt or the uprising. I think and there being a lack of a peace. If there is anything that is, like demonstrations and going to the fence and all that, it's because things aren't as they should be. So you can see it from both sides. Which is it? Is it that Israel is squelching Gaza, or is it Gaza should be squelched? And I don't think it should be squelched. So um, we can look into these facts, but definitely get Iran out of giving them money and get good monies into Gaza and check out Hamas and see exactly who they are. And um, I mean, there's got to be a way to do that, independent inquiry, and find out if they're legit or not. And I don't want them on that terrorist list. I'd far rather we keep the same government and move on and have peace. They may be much better than you would ever imagine. So that's all I have to say on the matter. Okay, this is part 57. Signing off. Bye.